Good evening, everyone. I am Natalia Nancis, and this is the Adventist Information Network, bringing you stories locally, regionally, and internationally. In our top stories, Youth Congress 2023, Tobago Pathfinder Band launch, and ASI Convention 2023. Life, Eternity, God, and the Christian Youth. Legacy was the slogan used for the Power-Packed Youth Congress held on Friday 13th and concluded on Sabbath 14th January 2023. Pastor Marvin Smith brought the word with its end message, "What you do now impacts your future." Youth Director of the Caribbean Union, Pastor Marvin Smith, and Youth Director of the Tobago Mission of Seventh-day Adventist and coordinator of this series, Annette Lewis, tells us more.
All right, thus far you're attending the conference, the youth conference. How has it been for you?
Well, it has been a great experience so far. I really enjoy coming here. I learned a lot. It has renewed my vows with the Lord so far. Yes. I need to commit more to God and get out of the electronic world, be an evangelistic youth, and preach the gospel to those around me and try to evangelize to others.
But now we go a little higher. We go up to the union, the Caribbean Union that is, where we have Pastor Marvin Smith, who is from Guyana originally. Now, he is here with us as our presenter for this weekend, and we indeed are happy to have him. What is it that you really want our young people in Tobago to get from your devotions?
First of all, I think that the theme speaks for itself. Life, eternity, God, and the Christian youth. It's really touching and scratching where it's itching. This weekend, my motive is to really inspire, motivate, encourage young people to make that connection with God, because the entire future is dependent upon Him. So really, that's the main motive. You know, young people are struggling, they have different difficulties, and we're not going to beat them with a stick, but we're going to inspire them through His Word. You know? So that's the motive. Legacy, have them reflect. And thus far, it's really been a great experience.
Excellent. We are glad to have that, because in Tobago, our youth preachers are not as prominent as they were before, but we hope that with this program, we would have some more coming out. Now, Pastor, being from Guyana, we know that youth work is a big thing in Guyana. Do you believe that that lends to what you can bring to the union as a whole?
Well, most definitely, you know, youth work is a big thing in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and you know, God has gifted us in different ways. And so my whole intent is to use my gifts to really help every place in Guyana, every field. And the good thing is, from just a cursory look, I can see that there's so much potential in the youth of Tobago. So much to say that you know, today speaks to the fact that youth work is not lost. You know, we shouldn't be as worried, you know, as we are, you know, because the young people turn out, they're here, they're responsive, they're taking notes, I interact with them. In fact, I'm so hopeful and encouraged. I believe that we have the victorious team with us. We just have to coach them. And I will support the leaders here to coach the young people.
Excellent. Agree with you, Pastor. Now, coming up in July will be a great youth crusade. Pastor is our speaker for that youth crusade. And Pastor, what are you looking forward to really do? Because I mean, this morning we heard about mashing up the place for Jesus. Is that your intention when you come here?
Man, you know, we're mashing up the place by fixing it.
Yes.
But the reality is it's twofold. When young people work for God, the process of winning souls, the process of evangelism really helps to fortify their own faith and belief. And secondly, I believe we have a Christian responsibility to really go out into the community and deposit the truths that made us better, the things that we benefit from. We're better people, we are healthier people, we we're successful people because of the tenets and the values that we got from God's word.
Yes.
And we're going to share it with our community so that they can benefit. We owe this to our community.
Yes.
Well, one of the speakers spoke about footprint, whereby in this life, we are not just living anyhow, but everything that we do is supposed to leave a mark, even for our children and children. So it sort of puts something into your mind that says, hey, you're not just living for yourself, we're living for others. You're not influencing yourself, you're influencing others. So my mindset sort of a change even at this time, you know, that are living for the future.
And we are here with our youth director, Sister Annette Lewis, who is going to answer just a few questions for us as we talk about the Youth Summit. So welcome to ASI, Sister Annette.
Thank you.
And happy to have you with us.
Well, you know I'm not a stranger to ASI.
Excellent, and we are glad that that is so. So, Sister Annette, tell us, what planning went into an event of this capacity?
What planning? A lot of planning. But you see, there was so many elements,
right,
that, you know, to make it happen.
Right.
And it's not something that I could be doing on my own.
Right.
So, you know, I have to divide and I have to conquer. So, you know, I have to have a team of persons.
Right.
I have to have things coordinated in order to plan this program.
Yes.
But it was a program that we started to plan from last year, not now, not of the last month,
okay,
last year. So
right,
just goes to show the magnitude and the amount of work that needed to be organized and prepared for this program.
Excellent. So how many persons do you have attending the summit?
Well, I can tell you, in the office, the folks asked me the same question. Now, my president asked me that, and he said, I told him my target is 100 persons.
Right.
I said, Pastor, I just need 100 persons, a representation from each of the churches.
Very good.
And I got a registration of, I think it might have been about 240 something persons.
Wow.
Okay. We also invited the personal ministries leaders
Very good.
to be with us, because this is an evangelistic,
yes,
you know, effort and focus as well.
Excellent. Now I realize that both of us are wearing club uniforms,
yes,
but we know AY is definitely not limited to club. So who did you cater for today?
Right, so we had the AY, we had Pathfinders, Master Guides, and we have adventurers as well.
Excellent.
But if you would notice, you're not going to, as you look around the venue, you're not going to see many persons in adventurer uniform.
Right.
I'm not sure why they didn't come out, but you know, I'm always in Master Guide uniform,
right,
the green and the white.
Yes.
But today I decided, you know, I think I'm going to wear the adventurer uniform so that people can see.
Excellent
and
representation.
It's a good thing I did, because
yes,
what happened is persons start to ask me about adventurers. They're
good,
interested in adventurers.
nice.
So, you know, it did something.
Very good. Now, ASI, one thing I want you all to remember is that the Adventure Club is one of the only clubs that can be done right in your home. While you will need training for Pathfinders and Master Guide, you don't need that at all for adventurers. So just pass by the office and get the necessary documentation for starting the club, so that you can do one at home as well, or with the members in your community. Last question for you, Sister Annette. As a result of this, what do you hope to see happen in Tobago?
What I want to see happen in Tobago, and I was sharing this with Pastor Marvin, is I want to see the churches reconnect with the young people.
Excellent.
I want to see that there is more youth involvement, especially the time that we are in right now. It's young people. The focus is very much young people are really running things. Basically.
Yes.
They have the handle on, especially social media.
Yes.
And we need to capitalize on that. And I want to see that through the church, through our ministries, that we use social media to the advantage of for the kingdom of God.
Yes.
Right? You know, it's being used, being abused, but we need to bring it in, tone it down, and use it as that evangelistic tool that it can be used.
Excellent. So that was Sister Annette Lewis, our youth director. We thank her very much for this afternoon's program, and we hope it will be a blessing to everyone who came and participated.
The Tobago Pathfinder Band hosted its band launch for the year 2023. The event was held on Sunday, 5th February 2023 at the Harmon School of Seventh-day Adventists, where the recruitment process has also begun. For more information on recruitment, please contact the Tobago Mission of Seventh-day Adventists at 639-1222. The ASI Tobago chapter hosted its annual convention at the Good News Seventh-day Adventist Church from Sabbath 28th January on to Sabbath 4th February 2023. Featured presentations were given by Director of the University of the West Indies School of Nursing, Dr. Oscar Ocho, Director of Stewardship and Trust Services Caribbean Union Conference, Pastor Gandalal Samlal Singh, and President of the East Caribbean Conference, Pastor Anthony Hall. Together, they brought to viewers the theme Gospel Warning, Character Change.
Good evening, viewers. Here with me is Pastor Anthony Hall. Tell us, what conference do you represent?
Good evening, Biana. Anthony Hall is the president of the East Caribbean Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. That is two islands, the island of Barbados, where I'm born, my home, and then Dominica as well. Those two islands together, they refer to as the East Caribbean Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. But what I will tell you is this.
Yes.
I grew up in a poor village in Barbados. My parents were not well-known people. They were not aristocratic. They were not sophisticated people. We were simple people.
Yes.
And I learned from very young to care about persons, to share, and to be affectionate towards other people and so on.
Right.
And I found myself as I grew that people would come to me and they would tell me their issues and their problems, especially younger people. And when I went through secondary school, I had the experience of going through a sixth form, and at the end of sixth form, one of my teachers went on a long leave, and I was asked to fill her place. So I left school in June of that year and went back in September, a teacher in the same school.
Yeah.
And lots of younger children came to me and told me the issues and their problems. That's when I found the ministry. Okay. And I found out that for whatever reason, I had some level of giftedness with speech, with persuasion, with being able to convince people about certain things. And God told me, you probably should use that as a gift from me to help people grow to mature.
Okay.
And I think really and truly that's why I'm a pastor in the first place.
Okay.
Because that's what I live for,
right.
Helping people to find themselves.
All right. Here with me, viewers, is Elder
Ian Green.
From?
I'm from the Bahamas ASI chapter, also the Atlantic Caribbean Union ASI chapter.
Okay, nice to have you. So during the ASI convention, I know you presented, but your key focus was on health, right? Tell us a bit more on that.
Okay, health is one of the things because my health was poor when I was a young child.
Right.
And the doctors had given up on me to some extent. They said I wouldn't live to be a certain age, I won't grow to a certain height.
Okay.
And I graduated high school at 5'7", and the next year I grew into 6 foot, and therefore 6 foot something now.
Okay.
But it's because I changed my diet early after meeting the church.
Oh.
It wasn't before. I came into the church, I believe that God can deliver his health message inside us, and we can live it out.
Yes.
And it changed me. It changed my heart.
Okay.
And ever since, I've been involved in health.
All right. Please tell us your name and what position do you hold at the ASI Tobago chapter?
My name is Lyndon Antoine. I am the Vice President of the ASI Tobago chapter.
All right. How long has the ASI Tobago chapter been having these conventions in Tobago, and why is it important?
Well, this year was our 20th convention.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been having conventions for quite a long time now.
Right.
And why we have conventions, it began initially as just having a weekend to pay specific focus to ASI, what ASI is all about, so that the membership in Tobago would become aware of what ASI was about.
Yeah.
Because ASI is a pretty new organization in the church. There are so many other arms of Adventism. ASI was a new one that came in the late, let's say, 20th century, just before the 21st century. Okay. It's when ASI was introduced. Mm-hmm. So we decided at first to just have a weekend of activities, but then the ASI Tobago chapter decided that apart from just sensitizing the public to ASI, its mission, its vision, its goals, why not also make it into a soul-winning opportunity during that time? So it morphed into a week of activities where we don't just let people know what ASI is all about, but we also have a gospel evangelistic trust during that week.
All right. The theme that was chosen this year, why was it chosen to be the theme for this year?
I think God chose the theme for us because normally how we would choose a theme is that we would come to a meeting and the chairperson, who is oftentimes the president, would ask for members to suggest a theme for the convention. So several themes were proposed and voted on, and this one that we chose this year, Gospel Warning, Character Change, was the one that got the most votes. Okay. I just think that God chose that theme for us this year.
All right. And how is the ASI chapter still relevant in Tobago, this current environment?
ASI is relevant for a number of reasons. Let's begin with during COVID time. People could have depended on ASI to contribute to their spiritual needs during the COVID time. People couldn't go to church, and ASI was there. Okay. In addition to that, we have moved out of the COVID time, and ASI has continued to be present in people's homes with the Three Angels message, with the gospel as we know it, and with just sharing Christ in the marketplace is what ASI also does. But as outside of the media, we are a group of people who we tend to be looking for ways to help others to make life better. Okay. All right, so during this convention, you would have seen where we gave out vouchers to people with $350 for them to have groceries, the less fortunate ones. There are houses that we have built for people, several of them in Tobago. All right, there are situations, for example, just recently when I think it was St. Vincent had the volcanic eruption, ASI Tobago chapter came together and got stuff to send all the way over to St. Vincent. So ASI is relevant, is really about meeting the needs of people where they are and sharing Christ in the marketplace.
For over 15 years, the ASI Tobago chapter has hosted its annual convention, and this year was no exception. But it was an ASI with a difference. Yes, ASI convention was hosted from Sabbath 28 January 2023 to Sabbath 4th February 2023 with the theme Gospel Warning, Character Change. And indeed, it was a character change experience. What was unique about this convention is that we had three amazing speakers. We started off with Dr. Oscar Ocho. He was followed by Pastor Gandalan Samlal Singh, and to put the cherry or the icing on the cake was Pastor Anthony Hall. They provided sermons that were not just still stirring, but sermons that were really about character change. They were applicable, they were practical, and they reminded us, or they created a reassessment of where we are in terms of our Christian walk and where we need to be.
Thank you for joining us on the Adventist Information Network. Join us next Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. where we introduce our new segment, AIN Icons. I am Natalia Nancis. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.